December 10th is a big boxing day. We're just a little under a week away from that day. And we've already been talking about Anthony Joshua versus Eric Molina, but now we're about to talk about Terence Crawford versus John Molina on HBO. Right now, it doesn't seem good for our friend, our cool people, John Molina. He's a 15-1 underdog as we speak at the moment. Odds, obviously, completely in favor of Terence Crawford. Your guys' thoughts on the fight itself, and do the odds honestly reflect? Honestly,
I think that's much, 15-1. But Terence Crawford is, I think Terence Crawford's a real deal. I mean, I think it could switch left to right. Freddie was telling us after the Postal fight that even when he's moving, he hits you, he hits hard. He hits hard enough to where fighters don't want to make any mistakes in there. Terence Crawford's a real deal. I mean, I love John Molina. I think 15-1's a little high, but I mean, do I feel like he should be the underdog? For sure. I think he would probably say that he would be the underdog because he's a real honest guy like that. You know what I mean?
If you're a firm believer in John Molina and you want to have one hell of a Christmas, $100 on Molina.
Thank God I don't believe in Christmas. No, John Molina has minimum chance, and John Molina is
he's a good guy, yeah.
He's gonna be a good person too. A lot of good people. Mike Tyson was a terrible person, but he was a hell of a fighter. If I'm a betting man, I'm not betting this fight, but betting man, I take Terence Crawford. He looked sensational against the mandatory challenge of John Postal, who obliterated Lucas Matisse, and we saw it firsthand. We were all there. So based off of that fight, based off of John Molina's last 3 fights, Terence Crawford is operating on 91 gasoline, and John Molina is on 87. I mean,
how can John pull off this upset? And all I can think is his power, but I think his power really reside at 135, not so much at 140. I think he was a power puncher at 135. At 140 pounds, the power is there, but it's not that type of punch that's going to put you to sleep. And Terence Crawford, I think, has a pretty good chin. And as Steven just mentioned, he's the real deal, man. I don't like him as a person.
Terence Crawford, he's a terrible interview.
Yeah, I don't like him as a person.
Yeah, not the best.
But like you said before, Mike Tyson wasn't a very good person, but that doesn't matter in boxing. Skills pay the bills. So with that being said, I'm trying to figure out how in the world can John Molina pull off this upset, and I just don't see it.
Well, you got to do what the Celtics did to the Lakers. Cater their food. That's probably the only way where you get upset stomach. And, you know what I mean? Like, for real, I remember that story as a kid. Like, half the Lakers would have upset stomachs against the Celtics in the finals. But will I be rooting for John Molina? Probably yes, because I'm closer to him than I am to Terence Crawford, and you are your keeper's company. So I'll be rooting for him. I won't be live at the fight. We'll be at the Galen Center.
We'll be I'll be there.
You going to?
No, you ain't going to Nebraska.
Oh no,
you ain't going to Nebraska.
I said we're all going to be there at the
yeah,
Galen Center.
But the betting public bet Terence Crawford. He looked like a poor man's Floyd Mayweather's last fight against Postal, which will, all intents and purposes, let you believe that he's going to disarm John Molina.
Not even that poor. Maybe like middle class Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean?
Middle class Floyd Mayweather.
High middle class.
It was great.
That's funny. Middle class Floyd Mayweather.
I mean, just the fight itself, I when it was first announced, I wasn't very keen on it. I wasn't very happy about it. I just didn't like the matchup.
I think that comes from knowing John, to be honest. Because as a boxing fan, prior to really knowing John, I was like, I get it. Like, you just fought the very best guy in your division in Victor Postal. You dominated him. You fought him for what seemed like short money. I mean, it was a pay-per-view event that HBO didn't really push a lot. I'm sure he didn't make a whole lot on those numbers. So it's kind of like, he did what all boxing fans want. You take the risk, even if the reward's not that great. So when he got John Molina, I was like, good for John. I'm sure he's making a good amount of money from it as well.
Yes.
But as a fan of watching Terence Crawford, I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's like, all right, like a lower level fight, you still get one more fight in before the end of the year. You stay sharp, all that. Like, good for you.
And the ironic part about John Molina taking this fight I would lean more towards taking John Molina against Danny Garcia than I would, even at a higher weight class.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, I see the dichotomy, well, you're like, damn, it's
styles make fights.
I was just about to say that. Styles make fights. So that's pretty ironic. So
I was really surprised when that matchup got put together.
To quote Robert Garcia, when I asked him if the best John Molina that just beat Ruslan Provodnikov could show up and Terence Crawford could have his worst night ever, both Mikey and Robert said, nah, not even that John Molina could beat.
Damn.
But here's the funny part about that, because I recall when Ruslan and John was announced, they did an interview with Ricky Funes and Brandon Rios, and both of them were like, nah, there's no way he could beat Ruslan. There's no way this, that. They ate their words on that one. I don't really see it on this one. John is like a real good friend of mine, has a nickname for me. You could look it up and everything. But it's like, I just don't see it. I know John has always said, you don't bet against Floyd Mayweather. And right now, Terence Crawford is everybody's Floyd Mayweather. So how can I bet against him? How can I go against that? We've seen the man live fight. We know what he could do. John in big fights, and even he's admitted it himself in the Broner fight, he froze. He didn't know what to do then, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, why did John take this fight? I know he wants to test himself. I know he wants to fight the best. I know he wants to just go out there and provide for his family, but like he said, he didn't like this fight when it first was announced. He just beat Ruslan Provodnikov. Why would you go up against someone like Terence Crawford when you could get probably somewhat in that Ruslan level as well, and more than likely have the odds go in your favor to win?
I don't know. I mean, if I'm in John's position, like, you know, we all know fighters when fans say, oh, you're afraid of, like, fighters aren't afraid of anything.
Yeah.
But, so I think that's kind of John's thing, is like, well, I'm not afraid of this dude. He's
true.
my size, you know, like.
He's taller.
He's just a man, you know what I mean? I'm sure he's like, and really, John loses this fight. I mean, I guess maybe it depends, you know, if he loses this fight, how. Yeah. But I don't see it as a big L either. Like, I mean, you fought kind of what we all said, like the new generation Floyd Mayweather. Like, he's brilliant to watch. So you take a loss, and you still. I mean, what other names are in 140 besides John Molina? Like, for other fighters in that weight class, like
the fighters' wives.
let me bring something else up when it comes to the discussion of this fight. This is the first top-ranked PBC fighter fight that is going on and that has happened without a purse bid. This is a negotiated fight. Do you think this opens up now to Top Rank? We've known Bob Arum has said that he wants to put on fights between Top Rank and PBC fighters, but do you think this opens up for other promoters? I know.
For sure.
I know Tom Loeffler, K2. You know, you got Dominic Wade, and he got.
He fought two of them.
Yeah, exactly. He fought two of them already. Two of them. Two of Al Heyman fighters. So obviously they're opening to do that. But will this open up if Golden Boy sees that this is actually a better opportunity, not only for every other promotion, but their promotion and their fighters? Do you think it opens up for promoters working with one another much better without the he say, she say, purse bids, and this person doesn't want to negotiate here, this person there, blah, blah, blah. Basically cutting down the crap that most of us boxing pundits and fans get and hear from what's going on in the world.
It has to, because at the end of the day, it's about money. It's about the bottom line. And as you see with Ward Kovalev, which by far was the best fight in 2 years. I mean, even if you include Mayweather Pacquiao, it was the best fight we saw in such a long time in terms of the best fighting the best. And you saw how dismal those numbers did. You saw how main events didn't have the money to run a PR campaign. You saw how Rock Nation didn't have the money to have a PR campaign, because if you think about it, if this was like the Zab Judah era, he would have been in Jay-Z's video promoting the fight. I don't care how Christian Andre Ward is, or a son of God. This is not a knock on him, but at the end of the day, you gotta. If you don't want to do it, you have to do it for the people who's representing you. So you never saw him stand beside Miguel Cotto. You never saw him stand beside Beyonce, Jay-Z. Never saw him at a Kanye West concert. You know, little subtle things like that that can get the pulse. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's about the money. And I think Bob Arum is smart enough, Steven Espinoza and Al Heyman are smart enough to quote unquote get ahead of the curve per se, because
got to add Richard Schaefer to that list because he's back now and he's first fight that he's promoting Morris Cuellar, second one Frampton Santa Cruz. So he's already putting on 2 great shows.
well, he got a silver spoon, doesn't he?
Right. I was just saying, like, it's almost. I mean, obviously he hasn't even put on the show yet, but it's, you know, he has Cuellar Mata's the first card. You know, Santa Cruz, Frampton too, with that great undercard of Mikey and Dejan.
More than likely he'll have Rios Ortiz.
Yeah, and he signed those
Balderas
Olympian
brothers.
kids.
Yeah,
The
the
Balderas
Balderas
brothers. Like, talk about hitting the ground running, man. It's and as a boxing fan, you gotta love it. Like it's we already know his work with Golden Boy, and now that he's kind of running the ship himself, I'm excited to see where that goes for sure. I mean, obviously you would assume that him and Golden Boy probably won't be doing business for a little while, if ever. But I mean, the fact that he's in the mix and now, you know, he said he's open to working with them, but he obviously, you know, he's open to working with Top Rank and all these other. I mean, it's just I can't wait for him to really start getting like fighters under his belt and really start kind of getting going on his own.
No, like you said, that's the big question. Will Golden Boy want to work with Richard Schaefer? That's the big question. But I think he's a great addition to boxing. And
Overall boxing.
Yeah, just having another promoter like him, because he's going to put together some really fantastic fights.
Especially for us here in SoCal and Nevada, because he's going to put on those shows out there and here. So
and he knows how to sell a fight.
Yes, he does.
He really does. When he gets on that podium, I mean, he sells it, and I'm like feeling it. So with that being said, I think he's a great addition to the boxing world.
Let's get back on topic and just obviously finish off your final thoughts on Molina versus Crawford. And are we just all in agreement that the likelihood is that Crawford will win this fight?
Yeah.
And I think the people watching are like, yeah.
Beyond John having another Mickey Bay moment, is there any shot that John has of winning this?
You know, I don't know if I'll be rooting for John Molina, and I'm not sure if he's going to watch this or not. I'm not sure if I'll be rooting for him. I don't know fight night, because when I saw Terence Crawford fight, I like fell in love with him again. When I interview him, I fall out of love.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Because I even asked him the question. I says, Terence, don't you think you need to open up more? Because you're making it hard for me to do something great about you. You know, and he says, no, I'm just gonna fight and let cars. But
you got to.
I love him in the ring, and I don't like him.
You got to remember, Max Kellerman gave him the opportunity to call out Manny Pacquiao in front of let's say 8,000 people in the arena, and he says, "I'll leave it up to my promoter. I'll leave it up to Bond." You have the opportunity right there. The opportunity is presented. Seize it at all costs.
What I will say this:
didn't take it.
The PBC fighters know that they're their own brand. They're their own LLC.
Yeah.
And because they're always calling out each other, so you know that, like, Sean Porter is adamantly trying to get Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, and
the winner of that
fight, the loser of the fight, the winner of the fight. Yeah. You know, you see Adrian Broner calling out people in that camp. You know, so he has to see it as like he's an entrepreneur. Yeah. He is in charge of his own business. You know, and until that happens, you know, I think his manager is Bud. What's his manager? I forget the manager's name.
Reed. No, I forget.
Kind of big guy a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
Cameron Duncan.
Cameron, isn't it?
Not the white dude. No,
it's not Cameron Duncan.
No, I'm talking about him. Yes, I'm talking about the guy with his friend that.
Oh, his trainer.
Yeah, what's the trainer's name?
I forget his trainer, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, his trainer.
They need to come up with a master plan.
Yeah. The trainer has a lot of...
No, but the trainer has
great charisma.
Did you see what he did at the postal proper?
Crossed out the stamp and all that stuff.
Crossed out the postal post stamp and everything like that. He has charisma with the he came from it, you know?
Well, he needs to let Terrence Broad when he speaks.
Yeah. Basically like Angel and Danny.
Yeah, I thought to say
Angel and Danny. Just let Angel talk.
But he talks.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. So.
All right, then. Well, guys, you hear our recap on, or our preview for Terence Crawford versus John Molina on HBO. Catch that on December 10th. Let us know what you guys think in the comments section. Just to let you guys know, we are giving a pair of tickets to Abner Mars versus Jesus Cuellar at the Galen Center here on December 10th. Follow us and subscribe on our YouTube channel at The Fight Guys, all one word. Twitter and Instagram at The Fight Guys _. Comment. Leave comments on our videos. Leave comments on our social media sites. Let us know that you're watching. and we will pick a winner out Thursday. We'll let you guys know who the winner is on that day. Until then, we'll see you guys at the fights.